he has got them. The Sussexes, Harry and Meghan, know that they have been rumbled.
The stakes are high, and the margin for error is shrinking fast. Their brand, built on stepping away from royal duties and creating an independent global identity, relies heavily on credibility and public perception, but the speed of the media cycle mixed with the drama surrounding this book and their responses is putting that credibility under real pressure. One poorly timed comment can dominate headlines for days, turning a defense into a new round of criticism. Please subscribe. It cost you nothing, but it's really so much to me. And still, Meghan and Harry keep pushing forward.
It's completely over the top. It's ridiculous. It's farcical. It actually, to me, says that they're scared of Tom Bower. They're scared of what he's going to report because they know it's true. They know there's truth to it. If it's just deranged and crazy and fixation and whatever, then just ignore it.
They continue to defend their position, shape their narrative, and manage how they're seen using every tool available to them. Meanwhile, the world keeps watching, locked in on every development, every reaction, every shift in tone. It's become a high-stakes situation where even the smallest move can echo across headlines globally. And as everything continues to unfold, one thing stands out. Meghan and Harry's relationship with the press, the public, and the wider royal story remains tense.
Harry the bully! He made me feel worthless, is the quote. Shocking new revelations from the journalist Tom Bower, whose devastating new book about the Sussexes, betrayal, power, deceit, and the fight for the future of the royal family, paints Harry in the worst possible light.
Unpredictable and always one step away. From the next big moment, by responding to Bower's book, the Sussex have stepped straight into a storm that isn't calming down anytime soon. Now the world is watching closely as one of the most talked about couples in modern history tries to defend both their name and their narrative. And in this kind of spotlight, nothing goes unnoticed. Every word gets weighed, every statement picked apart, and every move magnified. The drama around Meghan and Harry isn't slowing down either.
That is the only explanation behind their truly deranged statement, suggesting that Tom Bower, one of Britain's most respected authors, someone who had a long career of revealing the truth about high-profile figures from Mohammed Al-Fayed to Simon Cowell for years before he tackled Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, is somehow a conspiracy theorist for deciding to tell the truth about them.
If anything, it's building. As the book gets closer to release, the tension only rises. This has turned into a high-stakes battle over narrative, reputation, and public opinion, where even the smallest slip can shift how they're seen almost instantly. And at the center of all, this is one key issue: trust. It's the one thing Meghan Markle and Prince Harry keep struggling to hold on to in the public eye. Every statement, every post, every response now carries serious weight. When they came out strong against Tom Bower's upcoming biography, calling it a deranged conspiracy, it looked like a move to protect their image, but the reaction that followed told a different story.
Now, Tom Bower is Meghan and Harry's arch nemesis. They detest him. They hate the guy because he wrote the unflattering book Revenge about them, which was an instant bestseller and the beginning of the end for their public reputation. They detest Tom Bower because of the damage that original book did and because he publishes the truth.
The harder they push back, the more their credibility gets questioned. Public opinion can flip fast. One moment, they're seen as independent voices, challenging tradition. The next critics label them as defensive, reactive, and unable to handle pressure. To responding to a book before it's even released. doesn't read as confidence to everyone. Many see it as a sign of panic instead. Every word Meghan uses, especially phrases like deranged conspiracy, gets replayed and analyzed across platforms like Instagram and TikTok. Nothing just disappears anymore. It spreads, it loops, and it gets picked apart from every angle. And it's not just online chatter. Royal commentators are pointing out that trust, once a key part of their brand, is now under serious strain. Meghan's history of carefully crafted messaging is now colliding with a media environment that moves faster than ever.
There's nothing conspiratorial, there's nothing deranged about this, and Brittany, the use of that word deranged, I think, shows that they're the only ones in trouble here.
Where everything goes viral and criticism rarely fades. To push back against Bauer's claims, they have to rely on the very platforms that amplify every reaction. Social media helped build their global image. But now, it's working both ways. Every response doesn't just defend them. It also opens the door to more scrutiny. Then there's the comparison that keeps coming up. William and Kate are still seen by many as the standard when it comes to royal stability. Their approach is steady, controlled, and deliberate. Every appearance feels planned, every response measured. That consistency builds trust over time. And it's exactly the kind of image Meghan and Harry are trying to project, but right now, they're struggling to land it the same way. The gap between those two approaches is becoming more visible, and people are paying attention.
Although the king's youngest son likes to project an image of himself as a kind and caring philanthropist, this book shows Harry to be quite the opposite, a thin-skinned, money-obsessed, status-obsessed grifter, and every bit as much of a preening narcissist as his wife Meghan Markle. My husband!
When William steps out at an event, the reaction is usually applause. But when Meghan responds to criticism or even moves early against something like a book, the headlines don't celebrate. Instead of praise, it turns into skepticism, debate, and non-stop analysis. Now, the book itself has become a major flashpoint. The claims being discussed, like suggestions that Harry has been heavily influenced or that the Invictus Games were used as a personal spotlight, hit directly at the core of their public image. And by calling it out before it's even released, they may have added even more attention to it. Critics are already asking a simple question. If the claims aren't true, why respond right now? That's where things get complicated because in today's media cycle, even defending yourself can be flipped into something else. The more strongly you deny something, the more some people start to wonder what's really going on.
He has made a career out of constructing ever more elaborate theories about people he does not know and has never met. Those interested in facts will look elsewhere. Those seeking deranged conspiracy and melodrama know exactly where to find him. But of course, there's nothing deranged and there's nothing conspiratorial about betrayal, power, deceit, and the fight for the future.
It's not always fair, but it's how public perception works. Now, from Meghan and Harry's side, though, this goes way deeper than just headlines. For them, trust isn't just about image. It's tied to everything they've built, their independence, their projects, their partnerships. All of it depends on how they're seen by the public. If they come across as overly defensive or reactive, that trust can start to slip. And once it does, it's hard to rebuild. Every response becomes a test. Will people believe them, or will it spark another round of criticism? That pressure is constant, and it's not just coming from the outside. Even within their team, there are concerns. Sources describe ongoing tension behind the scenes with advisors carefully weighing every move, timing, tone, wording. nothing is left to chance. Every press release and every post is checked and rechecked because they know how quickly credibility can take a hit. At the same time, the media cycle isn't slowing down.
And of course, although that original book, Revenge, contains some truly damning claims about the Sussexes, they haven't sued for a syllable written in that book. And they won't sue over this new one either, because it's all true.
Headlines keep highlighting phrases like deranged conspiracy, along with other explosive claims tied to the book. Social media keeps the momentum going, with commentary clips and opinions spreading fast. And the more they respond, the more material there is for people to analyze. It creates a loop that's hard to break. Every attempt to defend their reputation can end up pulling even more attention to the situation in the end. This all comes down to one thing: trust. It's not something you can see, but it shapes everything. It drives public opinion, fuels debate, and decides how every move is interpreted. Meghan and Harry can respond, clarify, and push their side of the story. But in this kind of environment, trust is fragile. Once it starts to crack, it's incredibly difficult to repair. So that's why this situation goes beyond just one book.
The truth will bear out generally. People will ignore what they seem as or deem as sort of on a crazy end of the spectrum. But that's not what Tom Bower is doing. Tom Bower is being a journalist here and reporting the facts. And the facts terrify Meghan Markle especially. She can't deal with them. She has to live in her delusional fantasy, and she hates anybody who tries to break it. And unfortunately for her, most of the media tries to break it all the time, and she just immensely struggles with that.
It's about credibility, control, and convincing people that their version of events is the one that holds up. As the release date gets closer, the pressure only builds. The court of public opinion doesn't wait. And it doesn't forget one wrong move, one poorly timed response. And the very claims they're pushing back against could end up shaping how their story is remembered. Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, are widely reported to be maintaining a low public profile, as the latest wave of media attention around the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continues to unfold. Royal watchers note that this contrast in approach has become a recurring theme in commentary, with the Waleses often portrayed as calm, strategic, and understated in their public communications. By comparison, some analysts and commentators suggest that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are appearing more reactive in the current media cycle.
Well, they call him a nutjob, and by the way, it's my understanding that Harry and Meghan are in total disarray about this new book. I'm hearing from my sources that Harry's freaking out because he's read the preview chapters, he doesn't like it, and he's absolutely terrified about what else is going to come.
In an environment shaped by rapid online debate and constant coverage, even small actions, statements, social media posts, or content deletions are quickly examined and discussed across platforms. Adding to the pressure is renewed discussion surrounding the Invictus Games, the international sporting event founded by Prince Harry to support wounded and injured service personnel. Claims featured in an upcoming royal biography have suggested that Meghan's presence at the event may have shifted media attention away from the athletes themselves.
Perfect timing. Right before they go to Australia, I have ordered and will be doing a full review. Just remember, Harry and Meghan threatened to sue at the drop of a hat, and they have never tried to sue Tom Bower because they know what he writes is true.
Representatives for the Sussexes have strongly rejected these assertions, and describing them as inaccurate and disrespectful to both the participants and the spirit of the games. Despite these denials, commentators note that once a narrative begins circulating, particularly one that links high-profile figures to sensitive topics such as veterans' welfare, it can gain momentum quickly online. In the current media landscape, perception often develops alongside verified facts.
Personal brand value had crashed. She said, people don't want to be associated with your Netflix shows, and especially not with Meghan. The survey also discovered that Meghan had almost no brand value in the United States. Across the globe, she actually damaged Harry's remaining brand value. Now, accustomed to being hailed as box office, Harry was stunned, writes Tom Bower. Johnny Depp, the actor, had still attracted a lot of money despite his bitter courtroom battles with his ex-girlfriend Amber Heard. Couldn't Harry do the same? So Harry is comparing himself to the rather handsome, swashbuckling movie star Johnny Depp.
Creating an environment where public opinion can shift rapidly. Observers say the couple now face a familiar challenge, balancing the need to defend their reputation with the risk that frequent or forceful responses may prolong the controversy. Critics argue that responding to allegations before a book's full release may have inadvertently amplified attention. While supporters maintain that early rebuttals are a necessary step to prevent misinformation from taking hold.
And rather than just ignore Tom Bower, or actually decide to put their money where their mouth is and sue the guy, Meghan and Harry instead ran to their favourite news outlets like GB News and People magazine to release the second in a truly bonkers statement. They said Mr. Bower's commentary has long crossed the line from criticism into fixation. This is someone who has publicly stated the monarchy in fact depends on actually obliterating the Sussexes from our state of life, language that speaks for itself.
Media analysts also point to a broader pattern in how modern public figures engage with criticism. Direct, immediate responses can help shape narratives, but can also intensify scrutiny, especially on social media where commentary spreads at high speed. By contrast, more traditional royal communication strategies, often characterized by silence or carefully timed appearances, are seen by some as fostering an image of stability and long-term planning. The situation highlights how different public relations approaches can lead to sharply contrasting perceptions. While some audiences interpret proactive messaging as transparency and strength.
And of course, Brittany, the whole point of this book is to fast forward to today and talk about the strains in their marriage, especially since Meghan decided to focus almost entirely on her own personal commercial ventures, only using Harry when it suited her.
Others may view it as defensiveness or crisis management, all with debates continuing across news outlets, online forums, and royal commentary circles. The Sussexes remain under close observation. Each new interview, statement, or public appearance is likely to be analyzed in detail, underscoring how reputation, timing, and media framing now play a central role in shaping the public narrative around prominent figures. The pressure surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle appears to be intensifying as public debate continues to build around media coverage, reputation, and narrative control. Their post-royal identity, built on stepping away from official duties to create an independent global brand.
But to get that confirmation from Bower that it was something that the publicist had actually suggested shows just how cynical Meghan is and how prepared she is to use human tragedy to advance herself, something I think we've seen over the past few days, Brittany, with this terribly ill-judged visit to a Californian children's hospital, which she has no connection to, which she's never raised money for.
Depends heavily on credibility and how audiences interpret their actions. In today's fast-moving media environment, even a single comment or statement can dominate headlines for days, or turning a defensive response into a new wave of scrutiny. Despite this, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue to speak out when they feel their reputation is being challenged, using interviews, official statements, and digital platforms to shape how their story is understood. As attention around an upcoming royal biography grows, observers note that the couple have effectively stepped into a highly charged public moment. Their decision to respond strongly to early excerpts has been interpreted in different ways. Supporters argue that early rebuttals are necessary to counter claims they believe are misleading, while critics suggest that reacting before full publication may inadvertently amplify interest and raise further questions. But the broader issue at the center of this situation is trust, a key factor in how public figures maintain influence and partnerships. For Harry and Meghan, public perception directly affects their media projects, philanthropic initiatives, and commercial collaborations. In a landscape driven by viral reactions and rapid commentary, credibility can be strengthened or weakened very quickly. Analysts also point out that comparisons with other senior royals, particularly Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, continue to shape the conversation. Their traditionally cautious communication style, often relying on silence, symbolism, or carefully staged appearances, is seen by some as reinforcing stability and long-term confidence. By contrast, the Sussexes' more direct and immediate responses can create a perception of urgency or defensiveness, depending on the audience. The controversy surrounding claims linked to events such as the Invictus Games further highlights how narratives can form around high-profile initiatives. Even when representatives reject such allegations, public debate can take on its own momentum, especially when amplified through social media discussion and commentary. Behind the scenes, reports suggest that advisors and communications teams are carefully weighing every public move, recognizing that timing, tone, and wording now carry exceptional weight. In a climate where headlines recycle phrases and online discourse magnifies reactions, each response can both defend and prolong a story at the same time. Ultimately, as the unfolding situation reflects a broader reality of modern public life, reputation is shaped not only by facts, but also by perception, speed of response, and consistency of messaging. As the book's release approaches and media attention continues, the Sussexes face an ongoing challenge, maintaining trust while navigating a global spotlight that rarely pauses and rarely forgets.